Hey, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. This is a continuation of my ADP versus end of the season PPR points by positions. We are trudging through the tight ends part 2, so you need to watch part 1. Continue with the data series here. So let's go. So this is a visual way for me to look at the key tight ends from 2015 to 23 and see what their ADP round was before season. So preseason versus the actual end of season fantasy points. Green is the top 30%, red bottom 30%, so you can think about success, failures, and mid 40% is in clear or no color. And you can see in the last few years, for instance, last year, Travis Kelce, a down year, but, overall 221 is not bad. But Hockenson would have got you in round 3 the same points, right? So the same points right there. And Andrews, with his injuries, 135. So he was not your big success considering the where you drafted him, right? So you can look over the time at the first round. Kelsey's been the only tight end only twice during this time and has delivered in a big way. I understand you may want more, but it's tied in. Second round, there's been 5 successes, 3 Third round, we've had, 6 success, 1 failure. And let's see, continuing, you can look. Fourth round, 2 failures, but a lot of success, right? 7. Fifth round, starting to see some serious failures here. 5 failures, 4 and 4 success. So, starting to, it's not all peaches and cream after the 4th round is how I would take that. 6th round, not failures, only 1. Had a lot more failures in round 5, but a lot of ands. But at this point, round 6, maybe you're thinking that's okay. But the percentages of you pulling a super duper one is thin, right? You would have had to grab Evan Ingram last year to make it worth your while here. Kettle here in round 4, so you could get about the same success 2 rounds later. But you would have had to avoided Waller, Goddard, and Pitts. So, after the fact, you say, oh yeah, I could have done that, but what does your draft diary say here? Round 7? A few successes, a lot more failures. Round 8, kind of blah. Let's see, round 9, round 10. So you start realizing the level of success, as you would predict, goes down with draft rounds over time. Here's round 12, round 11, that kind of thing. So visually, you can look at the success levels here. Let's see, round 1, I'm just grabbing the numbers of tight ends drafted at that round. So that would have been twice. That would have been Kelce, so only 2. 8, 9, round 4, and then you get 13, 14, 17, 11, and so there's a lot of people drafting way late, probably into their second tight ends at this point. And then looking over time here, from 15 to 23. So this just kind of gives you the counts. This is round one, rolling counts and total average here of points, total points got. And you can see, if you think about it, it looks like round one is by itself, and then 2, 3, and 4, you're here. And after 4, historically, it gets lean. I understand there's some success to be had, but you better be damn good. To me, this is streaming territory at this point. If you're not picking up a solid tight end before round 4 and before, then I wouldn't draft in round 5 or 6. You can wait to round 8 or 9 and try to stream something together if you're good. But that, it's the barbell strategy. Okay. Early versus, here's total points. Over time, of course, goes down. You start getting a plateau, and then the number of tight ends grabbed goes up over time. And you can kind of look at the trends that have occurred from 15 to 23. And to me, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to decide, do you want to draft in here for your tight end? Or are you willing to wait? And if you're willing to wait, then I'm not sure I wouldn't be waiting late. I'm not sure the mid-round tight ends, 5, 6, 7, are worth your time if you can't put together a streaming collection here of 2 or 3 tight ends to try to make up this, the loss here, the loss over time. You could do a percentile loss. I didn't do it, but you could, see on average each round, what are you losing? And you see at some point you're dragging about the same from round 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, in some ways 10, 11, 12. You're kind of in this range here. And that's the old, you either draft to the elite or you wait concept here. Another way to look at it is the number drafted each year versus the points returned from that number here. And you can take a look at that and see what it's all about. And then you look at efficiency. I've divided the average by the number of tight ends drafted in that round. And you get some efficiency numbers. Success in green, white is red is failure. So notice the efficiency failures hit you round 5, looks 6 a little, 7. So certainly by round 10, folks, it's dismal at this point here. And another way is who's in the top, second, bottoms, and again round 5 here at this point. And you look at the efficiency, really hasn't changed a lot. Had a little bit of uptick last year. If you look at just the distribution, the total tight ends, fairly good. But look at the year before. So look at the variation here from one year to the next. So this idea that whatever happened last year is what's always happened is not the case at all. This should put a little fear in you here. So overall, if you look at the efficiency here in the last year, so last year, running backs, round 1, pretty good. Round 2, then it went You had a little uptick round 7 and 9. Some failures. And wide receivers, you were good for probably about the first 5 rounds. Tight ends, you were probably pretty good last year to the 5th round. So running backs, it's weird. You got kind of here and then kind of here if you're good enough to pick who these guys are here. That was in 2023. So that was a pattern. And you go look at the last year's patterns. But historically, there's been 4 sad efficiency years for running backs. We've never seen that round 1 wide receivers. And, of course, tight ends round 1 and 2. For sure, even 3 and 4. So really picking the elite tight ends have been fairly good. And round 1 wide receivers. Last year, like I said, the first year we've had a nice success of running backs, but look at 4 years of failures. So let's call it the most uncertain would have been running backs. And then the safest round 1, I mean, in this metric, tight end, Kelsey, you got what you got there. But to me, I really like the wide receivers in round 1. And then pick up the running back round 2 historically. And then a tight end maybe 3. I mean, that's kind of pushing you. It's kind of an overall kind of pattern to start considering. We need to certainly look at the ADPs at this point before we're going to figure it out. But I thought I would line up the efficiency. Consider this draft success. Green is good, white is and red is bad here. So I like to establish these kind of patterns, and I've gone through this in the other lessons as well. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say about this. Not that this is the secret to super success. It just puts you on the track to consider what's gone before, so you're not fooled and surprised and thinking you're bulletproof on any decisions you make, right? You should be worried about every move you make. And again, beforehand, having some mental dealings as you're going through the draft, looking at draft patterns, ADP. And I will be, once I start doing some best ball, maybe, I don't know, it's April here. Maybe I'll do one in May or 2 or 3. I'll start getting some draft patterns, and we can look at what the public has given us now as far as where positions are drafted and when, that kind of thing. You can kind of get a feel for that. So you can superimpose that, kind of the reality of what's happening in 2024 draft patterns, with what's gone on before, and that can inform your expectations here. This is just gold nuggets for you folks, if you're willing here to listen here. And I urge you to go through these before, I may not have, went too fast in some areas, went too slow, I understand, but there's no, super secrets here. This is just preparing your way. It's kind of a guide, a roadmap, but there's always unknown potholes here. So you should always be thoughtful about your drafting. You should never go in feeling like you've figured it all out, because there's always a surprise here. Historically, there's definitely history of surprises in fantasy football drafting. So I hope this series has helped you. It's here. Not a lot are going to take advantage of it. That's fine. I'm doing it mainly for me every year so I can kind of catch up with what happened. So it's definitely selfish, if nothing else. And I don't mind sharing it with the few of you that are, want to be different than the mainstream. Because you got to beat consensus to do better and put money in your pocket. So I wish you good luck. I'll have more stuff down the road, needless to say, at Science and Fantasy Football. We're going to lay down all sorts of stuff. May not get everything we have, because I've definitely got a lot of secret stuff that I'm not sure I'll ever share with you. Sorry, but you don't pay me, so you get what you get, and don't fuss about it. So good luck, and I'll have more lessons coming.